So can entrepreneurship be taught without the freedom to fail?
You have to teach them to fail. And you have to tell them that it's okay to fail.
So how would an MBA still contribute in creating leaders?
SIBM Pune students have always been known to be, if I may use a colloquial phrase, jugadu.
So do you think ethics as a quality has become one of the most overlooked part of an MBA?
If an award was to be given for the teacher of the year, I would give it to COVID.
Teacher of the decade probably.
But no, I would still give that award to President Trump.
Can the Western MBA models be challenged by Indian leadership thinking?
What Harvard did in 30 days, we did it in 15.
So, what should an MBA deliver in the times when businesses are rewritten by AI, innovation, and changing leadership expectations? To explore that, we have with us Dr. Shrirang Altekar, who is the director of one of India's leading B schools, Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune. Also, he is a proud alumnus of the 1983 batch of SIBM Pune. Sir, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for having me here.
So, to start with, my very first question to you would be, how should real business problems shape MBA learning?
That's a very good question because, we have been questioning this a lot, especially after somebody said that an MBA is useless. That happened last year, but we've seen that it is definitely not. If we look at the kind of results that our students have been producing, it is definitely not useless. But what is it that it is actually expected to deliver? So is it just an education? Is it just a corporate job at the end of it? Is it becoming an entrepreneur? I would say it goes more beyond that, right? An MBA is a foundation. MBA delivers life skills that you can utilize throughout your career. And it's not just at the start or the middle or the end, but this is something that stands you in very good stead throughout your life.
Right. So, just to elaborate that further, sir, if you would like to specifically talk about the role of an MBA in the AI era where the careers are transforming, the managerial roles are transforming. So, how would an MBA still contribute in creating leaders?
If you look at AI today, it's more of a hygiene factor. I mean, either you know it or you don't, right? It's become a part of everybody's life. You look at our students, for example, they are so enabled. I think they're better enabled than even us or our faculty members. But that has become a hygiene factor where people expect them to know at least the rudiments of AI. Now, we are a business school. We are not interested in our students knowing about the architecture of AI, but we are more interested in knowing as to how they are going to utilize it when they start their corporate careers. What we believe should be done and what we at SIBM are definitely doing is enabling our students to become users of AI. So what they will be doing is that, yes, there will be people who are using AI. Probably these people will be reporting into them. But what an MBA is actually expected to do is take details, take data, take information, take analysis, and take decisions based on that. So actually what is going to happen is that the role of an MBA is going to come up a little bit more, a notch higher than what is happening. You look at it, AI is disrupting a lot of roles, especially in analysis, analyst roles. It's disrupting a lot of roles, especially at entry level. Let's say HR, where even CV screening or earlier analysis is going for a toss. But then the higher part is something that MBAs will be looking for, and that is what we have been trying at SIBM.
So, do you mean that MBA can build judgments that probably AI cannot replace?
Definitely. See, AI at the end of the day is artificial intelligence, and there is human intelligence. There is also human stupidity, right? We are training them as far as human intelligence is concerned, but where a human will actually come into play is that portion which needs critical thinking, which needs judgment. I think that is a stage where AI is yet to develop. I'm not saying that it won't develop to that at a certain point of time. As of now, no. As of now, the human touch, the human factor, the human intervention is still going to be required, but at a higher level than what was being used previously.
Specifically in terms of contextual understanding and situational intelligence.
Critical understanding, I would say more strategic understanding.
Yeah. So, how should real business problems shape MBA learning?
See, SIBM Pune students have always been known to be, if I may use a colloquial phrase, jugadu. You look at the problems that we are facing today, and I'll just go back a few years prior, 2020. What happened? COVID, right? It hit us like nobody did. And honestly, if an award was to be given for the teacher of the year, I would give it to COVID because it taught us to innovate in ways that we had never thought possible.
Teacher of the decade, probably.
Probably teacher of the decade, but no, I would still give that award to President Trump rather than COVID. Yeah. Everybody talks about how Harvard innovated, how Harvard changed a lot of things. Within a month, they did this, they did that. Nobody talks about Symbiosis. Actually, what Harvard did in 30 days, we did it in 15. Symbiosis did not lose a single day. Exams were held on time, classes continued on time, admissions happened. You look at the changes that have happened since President Trump came into the presidency. We had one crisis after another coming in, which has caused tremendous disruptions. Now, what has happened? You look at, for example, tariffs. Where do tariffs sit? It's not just a question of one company imposing tariffs on another. What it drives is the cost element, the competitiveness element, which has pushed the prices of, let's say, Indian products, Indian brands up, which make them a little uncompetitive in the marketplace. Number one. Let us talk about, for example, Venezuela, where people are trying to control the oil market. No, that's a question that we all have to face, right? It's a cost of energy, which is impacting us. There are supply chain disruptions which are happening where the flow of raw material to Indian industry has been restricted. These are base level problems. If we don't get steel, we don't get copper, we don't get even urea for that matter. How does industry cope with this? So these kind of disruptions that are happening, this is something that we need to look at. And these are real world problems. I'm talking, these are macro factors. Look at micro factors. Now, let's look at bread. A basic necessity that we use in all our lives. Cost of bread is going up for the simple reason that packaging has become more expensive. No, this is not something that AI can solve. This is base industry. And this is what students will also need to understand. Yes, there is a world of artificial intelligence and there is a base world where industry actually lives. And what SIBM does is bridge both of them. Use AI to try and deliver some kind of solution to this, but it is not going to be dependent only on that, because real world factors which influence may be beyond the influence of AI. This is what SIBM is trying to do. What SIBM has done, let me share with you, is that every course we teach in every semester, 80% of that is being taught by our full-time faculty or visiting faculty. But 20% of each course is being taught by industry professionals. So on one hand, we have the contextual part coming in, the theoretical part coming in, and the application part is being taught by industry professionals. And I can share with you that even CHROs come and deliver full courses at SIBM. Now, this is the kind of, I think, input that is going into our students so that makes them completely ready. And I would say to become future ready, or even beyond future ready, I would say future proof professionals.
With a global outlook again.
With a global outlook, number one. Second thing that we have done with our students is given them a lot of psychological support. Because earlier we used to talk about VUCA, today we are talking about Bani, and this has had such an impact on global systems as well. Bani, we don't expect systems to go wrong, we expect them to fail completely. But if our students are prepared for it psychologically, and this is one factor where I would say Symbiosis students, and specifically SIBM students, have excelled, because we talk about the big R. The big R is resilience. And let me tell you, our students have become very, very strong psychologically. That's what we have done, and that's how we are training them to adapt to the real world.
That's amazing. I mean, B School working towards something like how they can have a higher psychological quotient for students.
Definitely. See, rejection is part of life. Failure is part of life. And we tell them, guys, it's okay to fail. It's all right. You can still build on. You have time. So be prepared for surprises, be prepared for nasty surprises, and be prepared how to deal with them. That's, I think, where SIBM students are making a difference.
So, sir, since you mentioned about global outlook, my next question is about Western culture, or rather, can the Western MBA models be challenged by Indian leadership thinking?
See, Indian management has always existed. You go back to our roots, you go back to the Ramayana, you go back to the Mahabharata. Those are magnificent examples of management. What do they not have? They have human resource. They have marketing. They have supply chain. They have logistics. You go back, management was always there within our culture. We are talking about certain concepts. We are talking about theories which we have borrowed from the West. Of course, they are useful. I'm not saying they're not useful. They definitely are. And yes, they are a step forward in the sense that if they are scientific, they should be used. There's no doubt about that. What SIBM has done is bring in an Indian aspect to it. We have courses on Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That has been the motto of Symbiosis ever since we started. Even before the government of India thought about it, Symbiosis has thought about it. We talk about Indian knowledge systems. And what we are doing right now is the use of case studies from the Indian context and not just international case studies. So that brings them in tune with what is the culture in Indian industry today. You look at Indian industry, a lot of it is homegrown. You look at the Tatas, you look at the Birlas, very recently, look at classical cases like the Ambanis and the Adanis. On one hand, we have them. On one hand, we have Indian MNCs like Larsen and Toubro.
Absolutely, yeah.
These are case studies which need to be studied.
Mm.
How is it that they have built their business models? How is it that they have, and these are all success stories.
Yeah.
So what has helped them succeed? And what are the challenges that they have faced? I think this is something that we are bringing to our students as well, that don't copy blindly what somebody else has done. There are umpteen cases of Western failures. There are umpteen cases of Indian failures as well at the same time. But let us try and get the best out of both. I think that is the approach that we have kept here.
Amazing. Okay. So, sir, for SIBM Pune, and it has been a legacy institution when it comes.
We'll actually enter our golden jubilee year next year.
That's what my question was, actually. So, 50 years of management education.
Next 28, we'll complete 50 years.
So, how does a 50-year MBA legacy stay future ready?
We have to adapt to the times. There is no doubt about it. I'll tell you what we are doing at SIBM, right?
Okay.
So, in the flagship program, the core program that we run, we have 5 specializations. So the normal ones, marketing, finance, human resource, operations and supply chain, and data analytics. What we have done is that in SIBM, each specialization faculty members from that specialization come together once every month to form what we have called a study circle.
Okay.
They will discuss what are the latest trends that are happening in Indian industry in that particular specialization, number one. Number 2 is that it is not just the faculty members who meet, but they get industry experts to come and talk about something.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever is happening. So it's not just theory, it's practice that is coming in over there. We are very fortunate that our university gives us the leeway to, change 10 to 15% of the content of each course while we are delivering it, while we are teaching it. So what is redundant goes out of the window, what is required or what is, I would say, going to be relevant in the future is brought into class.
Okay. And how frequent is this?
Once a month.
Once a month, okay.
So, that is one of the best practices that SIBM is following.
Okay.
And it has helped a great deal, right? Secondly, the 20% that is being taught by people that is coming in, I would say industry professionals teaching, that comes in, that brings in a lot of value. What SIBM also does is that we are, I would say, knowledge partners to quite a few people.
Okay.
So, in the corporate sector, we have private sector as well as public sector. We are partners with a whole lot of them, right?
Okay.
And there are a lot of capacity building programs that SIBM runs for all our corporate partners. Now, the thing is, it's not just us training them. It's what we also take from them. So, for example, if it's a Larsen & Toubro, just for example, we will look at how are they managing their sites, and looking at the fact that every site is at least 500 crores, there are a whole lot of best practices which the participants bring into that particular session. On an average, let's say if there's a class of 40 participants, and each comes with 5 years of experience, that's 200 years of experience in that class. And what we also get from that is something that we will also carry back to our class, right? Accordingly, we are working with multiple sectors, from IT to financial services to hardcore engineering to, I would say, even petroleum.
Okay.
So we are working with multiple sectors. We are working with the government as well. We are partners in Project Akashdeep with the Indian Air Force. We run programs for the IAF. And there are best practices we get from these people also. Now, what happens is our faculty members are able to bring this experience back into class. So, which is actually going to prepare our students as to what is happening in different sectors and be prepared for it.
Well, okay.
Also, technology. Like I said, we've embedded artificial intelligence in every semester. Rather, I would say semesters 1 to 3, because in the 4th students get placed, and it's a happy scene after that. But semester 1, let's say, starting from prompt engineering, which we start off with. Semester 2 is very heavy. And let me tell you one thing, these courses start after 5:30 in the evening.
Okay.
So the regular program structure is not disturbed. And second semester is very heavy. We'll have basics like advanced Excel, we'll have Power BI, we'll have Tableau, even something like presentation skills, AI, Gen AI, ML. All of this is crammed into semester 2. So students are ready for their summer internships by the time they go in for that. And we have seen the impact of that happening, where we used to get pre-placement offers of around 88, 90 PPOs. Last year, it went up to 132 because students were able to utilize all of this in their summer internship. And I think that has made industry
130
happy
PPOs.
132 PPOs.
132. That's
amazing.
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. And the packages have gone up. I can share what happened because it's there in the public domain. Because the highest domestic package went up to 74.8. That's domestic.
Okay.
So I think the industry is also happy with our students. I think we are moving slightly on the right path. I'm not saying 100% on it because there's no 100%. We are open to change. We are open to learning as well, and we are open to be flexible. So what we are doing is the qualities that we try and talk about, agility, flexibility, we are trying to incorporate them in our own working as well.
I think so. You're being very modest here. I'm sure this is the right path, and kudos to you for building this ecosystem because
Kudos goes to Symbiosis because Symbiosis has created that kind of ecosystem.
amazing.
And being an alumnus, I passed out of SIBM in 1983.
Correct.
So that makes me ancient, but that's fine. But
But
this
not,
is the kind
not
of
at all
ecosystem
ancient
that
when it comes to
Symbiosis
these
has.
things. Yeah. I mean, the future readiness that you just spoke about, I mean, that speaks a lot about the kind of...
I will say that there is no choice.
Yeah.
There is no
That's
choice.
Yeah.
So do you think ethics as a quality has become one of the most overlooked part of an MBA?
Let me put it this way that we lay tremendous stress upon ethics. What we pride ourselves on is creating professionals, but ethical professionals. I think it's a critical quality. I think it should be a taken for granted.
Okay.
We expect our students to be ethical. I would rather that my student come to me and say that, look, I've made a mistake. I'm okay with that. I would rather hear about it from my student than from a third party. And let me tell you, the kind of culture that we have in SIBM, for me being an alum, I know what it was. I knew what it was 40 years back. It's the same.
Okay.
Today, my students have no hesitancy at all in coming to me for anything. And they're very open and honest about it. And that's a quality that we prefer. See, SIBM has been built up on two basic principles. One is that of transparency in whatever we do. And the second is accountability.
Okay.
We want our students to be honest, ethical citizens. We want them to be accountable because the resources that we have may not belong just to us, or if they're working, they're recruiter, but they are actually national resources. So, it's a little part that they should also play towards nation building, which is something that we lay a lot of focus on. And I think ethics is the foundation as far as that is concerned.
Wow. So could you just elaborate a little more on nation building? Because generally people don't connect MBA with, nation building. They are limited to say they'll get into corporates and probably startups or have an entrepreneurial journey. But how nation building?
See, I've always said one thing, that you should become a very good professional. Don't become a mercenary. Right? This is what I've always been telling my students. But yes, we do a lot of things like the programs that we run for the Indian Air Force.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I had proposed to my management was that, yes, we are offering these programs to officers. Why not offer them to the spouses of the air warriors who have laid down their lives in combat for the country?
Oh, okay.
And without hesitation, our chancellor, she's chancellor now, Dr. Vidya, without hesitation, she immediately agreed, yes, go ahead and do this. And we are offering them at highly discounted fees. So that is one way of our contributing. Symbiosis has also adopted 35 villages around our campus. And we are doing a lot of work as far as women's entrepreneurship is concerned in those villages, where we go down to the grassroots, help them. Our students also go out to these villages, they are helping them to learn about digital literacy, financial literacy, and a whole lot of other things that they are doing. We have a club, the Social Impact Club, which does a lot of work in this, and I can tell you that that club has the highest number of volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's truly, great effort towards nation building for sure.
Yes.
So what are those few things that will set an MBA graduate apart in this AI first economy?
Number one, critical thinking.
Okay.
Number two, creativity. Number three, I would say people skills. Because at the end of the day, you cannot forget the human in the loop.
Yeah.
How do you manage those people? How do you bring in that human touch? Because, you cannot be totally zero human.
Yeah.
There are cases where this is happening, where, apart from the cars going without a driver, let's not get into that. But if you look at even super tankers today, which are transporting crude oil, if a super tanker used to operate with maybe about 400 to 500 crew on board, today you need less than 100. Where are they going? It's been taken over by computers, right? This is being taken over by AI today, which is analyzing, which is doing most of the mundane jobs that people are doing. But where are those people going? Now, they have to be upskilled, they have to be reskilled, and there has to be a human touch while this is happening. How do you make judgments? How do you interpret the analysis that has been made by AI and apply it? So I think application-based education is going to be the way forward.
It is.
And this is going to be critical as far as MBAs are concerned.
So AI is not taking away the managers' jobs, right?
In a certain way, yes, I would say
Okay.
entry-level jobs. But then, like I said, we have to reskill, we have to upskill,
Yeah.
which is what we have been doing. So what we are doing is we are pushing our MBA grads one notch higher.
Yeah, because the job
They will
roles
be
have
the-
also changed.
Yeah, so they will be the consumers of AI.
Yeah.
And they will be utilizing.
Yeah. Since entrepreneurship is one of the key skills that SIBM Pune imparts and has been doing that for quite some years now. So, can entrepreneurship be taught without the freedom to fail?
No, you have to teach them to fail.
Yeah.
And you have to tell them that it's okay to fail. Nobody makes a success of everything the first time around. There may be a few examples, but not everyone is able to do that. I think one of the first skills that an entrepreneur needs to take up is probably how to take calculated risks. Not just
Right.
risks, but calculated risks.
Right.
I think that is something that is not true just for entrepreneurs, but it's true for even, I would say, intrapreneurs.
Yeah.
Because what even the corporate sector is looking at today is not just managers, but they are looking at owner managers. People who will take ownership of their tasks, people who will take ownership of their roles. And I think that is what the corporate sector is also looking at. And that also calls for quite a bit of calculated risk taking.
Yeah.
Incidentally, we also run a program, we should call the Global Program in Enterprise Risk Management.
Right.
So this is something that we train our students to do.
Okay. So, speaking about entrepreneurship, should the primary role of an MBA be to find jobs or create jobs?
That's a very tough question to ask, because we run two specific different programs which are targeted differently, right? The core program, yes, it is very much targeted towards job seekers. But the second program, the M.B.A in Innovation and Entrepreneurship that we run, and let me tell you that this has been a fabulous program, is targeted either towards family businesses, because a lot of students come from there, or towards students who want to go ahead and have their own startups. Last year, for example, we had almost 12,000 applications. Now, one of the things we make very clear to them that there will be no placement assistance given. There are zero placements for this particular program. But if you look at the kind of ecosystem that we have created for this, the very fact that there are 12,000 applicants for 90 seats for a program that does not offer placements,
That speaks
I
for
think
itself.
it speaks for itself. I can say today with pride that about 100 startups have come out of SIBM so far.
Okay.
And maybe we have managed to create about 2,000 jobs. I know it's a small number, but I think that's a pretty good start. One of the very good things that Symbiosis has is that we have an incubator on campus, which is a technology business incubator approved by the DST, Government of India, where a few of our own students are also getting incubated. So we offer that facility on campus as well.
Okay. So, sir, we are done with all our questions. One last question that I have for you is that anything that you would like to give as probably a thought to the aspirants out there who are aspiring to, say, join SIBM Pune one day?
Well, we are the best. No doubt about it. We are the best. But I will always say one thing that, look, again, I'll come back to that resilience factor that it's okay to fail. If you don't make it this year, there's always a second time. It's not the end of the world. Go back to the drawing board, figure out what went wrong, and come back. I'm sure that they will be able to come back much stronger. Yeah. And hopefully make it to SIBM.
For sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for
It's an
all those
absolute
insights.
pleasure.
And thank you for joining us for this podcast.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.